Rebecca Fenton, the editorial director at ForceBrands. I'm really excited today to be speaking with John Mittel. He is the co-founder and president of Phocus. John, how are you doing today?
I'm well. How are you?
Great. So tell us what inspired you to launch Phocus.
So when I had the idea for Phocus, I was in my second year of medical school, and outside the library in the hospital, I was spending most of my time looking for something that would give me energy. So whether it was an energy drink or coffee, two things I did not enjoy drinking but really needed to keep going. So the idea actually came when I was in the library one night, and I had spent many nights there before, and the night prior had coffee, but I stayed up till 2 or 3 in the morning, couldn't fall asleep. And so I was looking for something to give me the next few hours, and I went to the vending machine, and I came back with water like I had done 100 times before. But this time I sat down and I thought, why can't they just have caffeine in water? So I took my idea to my now co-founder, Tom. Tom's originally from New York. He now lives in Louisville. He's a natural gas speculator and works in commodities. So he was a big believer and follower of trends. So when I brought him the idea, he had actually coincidentally just stopped drinking diet soda and was drinking sparkling water and coffee. And so this seemed like a perfect match to him. And then looking at the trends in the market, we saw quarter-over-quarter decline in soda, and we saw a trend in the opposite direction for sparkling water, for energy, for coffee, ready to drink coffees, and it seemed like a perfect marriage of both of those items. So it was important to us that we kept it no calories, no sugar, really everything you expect from sparkling water, with just that caffeine and the amino acid L-theanine to give you that steady boost of energy just for a couple more hours, just to get you performing right back at the level that you're almost at your balance and where you like to be the rest of the day.
And sparkling water is a very crowded category with a ton of competition. So I'm curious, did you have any reservations about launching a sparkling beverage? And tell us a little bit more about what sets Phocus apart.
I was fortunate, I guess, that I was ignorant of this space. So no one in our team that when we first started had any experience in beverage. And as we started to develop the product, which took about 2 years, we spent a lot of time looking at other products out there, and that became more and more apparent to us as time went on, how crowded it was. But we've been able to capitalize on the trends in the market. So with the growth of sparkling water, but along with the movement towards better for you alternatives, it was a perfect marriage and a perfect timing to be on the shelf. So when we think about what sets us apart from any other healthy energy or better for you beverage, to us, it's the simplicity of the product. And it's been, when we started it, we started looking at what's it look like with vitamins, what's it look like with a lot of electrolytes or with antioxidants. And outside of really making it challenging to make the taste enjoyable without sugar or sweeteners, it became really obvious that kind of defeated the message, defeated the point. Like, we were ultimately clouding what was our best-selling feature, which was the fact that it was caffeinated sparkling water. And that's really, I think, is what's been a big benefit and a big part of our early success, is the simplicity, but also the function and the enjoyment that it delivers.
And did you have any particular aha moment when you truly realized you were onto something quite big?
It was probably about 2 months in. So like I said, we had no experience. We did a smaller run of product for our first 5 SKUs that we had. And we thought, okay, well, this is going to last us for months. I mean, no way we could spend it. What's it going to go through all this product so quickly? And at that time, I was still considering, what do I do about residency? Do I try and do both and do ophthalmology like I was planning, or do I do I step away from Phocus and just do that, or vice versa and just do Phocus? So I was looking for a sign. I was really looking for something, and I was trying to be very unbiased and say, is someone else coming out? It's a big player coming out with this, because we thought it was a next logical step, and it's, for us, we've seen that. We've seen big players come to the market with the same product, similar product. So, but anyways, we had this size, this inventory, and we thought, well, it's going to take a long time, and we ran out within the first 2.5 months, which accelerated any plans for another production, increased the order size, increased our goals. But that was kind of a aha moment for myself when I saw how fast it was being pulled off the shelf and how quickly people were adopting it and where it was being adopted. That it was a proof that we had something. And at that time, I decided to defer residency and do Phocus full time.
And you are based in New York City right now. I do want to talk, I'd be remiss not to highlight or talk about COVID-19. What are some of the initiatives you've been involved in since COVID-19?
Having experience in the medical field and having 2 siblings that are actually physicians as well, it was a issue that was near and dear to our hearts, and both myself and the rest of the team at Phocus. So when the shelter-in-place orders started to come through and things started to drastically change for the industry, we wanted to work to try and provide something. And there were a lot of companies out there doing something for first responders, healthcare workers, and really things. So, and we wanted to try and do something as well. So we decided to get pretty aggressive and really commit a lot of donations to healthcare workers, first responders, really anyone intimately tied with COVID-19 and helping others. So we did 2 things initially. We partnered with a company called Where to Go, which is a UPS subsidiary, and we partnered with them to ship product throughout the country. And then we partnered with Cole at Founders Give to donate product to hospitals throughout New York City. So we closed that officially May 1st, and we did over 200,000 cans delivered to hospitals across the country, over 40 states, 450 hospitals, with 30 or 40% actually coming to New York. I think the total that we ended with Founders Give was close to 26 pallets of product donated to hospitals throughout New York.
We're huge fans of Cole Riley and Founders Give. So that's wonderful that you guys have collaborated together in a space. Talk to me a little bit more. The beverage industry, as we know, is heavily relationship-based, and it is a lot about partnerships. So tell us a little bit about, given this current climate, how are you navigating building new relationships? Tell us more about that.
Well, we've all had to make significant changes, whether it was working with a buyer or trying to get product merchandise on the shelf. There's a lot of things that had to change. And one of the things that we had done early prior to this shift was the relationship aspect, is delivering on what we promised. And that set up a pretty easy transition for us from where we started with being able to have in-person meetings to taking it all virtually. So going forward, we've had it's been an adjustment for sure. We had about a month ago, we had our first pitch virtually, and we had some snags on the presentation syncing with the other person, with the buyer, and with the audio coming through at the right time. And as you can imagine, the number of times that you hear the phrase, "No, you go ahead, finish what you're saying," when you try and interject. So that's been a challenge, but we've just continued to offer any help that we can and deliver where possible, and just really building upon the tenets that had made us successful so far. So to regroup that, it's been a challenge for sure, but we just try and work through or build whatever relationship through each buyer, merchandiser, any of our employees the best we can.
Well, it's like, as they say, as it relates to technology, if you're not having technology problems, you're not probably using it correctly.
Right. I think one thing we've had trouble finding is webcams for a lot of the team. They seem to have been inconsistently sold out. So, but that's been an adjustment. But it has, being able to work with the Founders Give and reaching out to hospitals. People have been really receptive to work with us, and it's kind of been able for us to show that we're still staying active in the climate. That's been big. I mean, the first and foremost, we wanted to support, and but being able to show or to talk with people about what we've done, I think has kind of helped build a reputation that we haven't been able to build in person that you normally would.
And speaking of building reputation, you are a very young entrepreneur. So do you think this has helped or hindered your success? What are your thoughts there?
It's probably a little of both, to be honest. I think that some of the things that we just didn't have any experience in, that I was just naive to, especially in the beginning, was significant. But I will say that the best thing that's happened from having a team that is not beverage centered or CPG centered is that we're open, and we're often trying things that aren't industry standards, that may not be the normal way. So we approach ideas differently, and we come up with solutions in a more unique ways when you compare it to ideas that may come from established CPG companies or professionals with CPG experience. Now, obviously, that's not to say that we don't need that experience, and we've brought some talent on within the last year that has a lot of experience, which has been very beneficial. But it's kind of a catch-22. It helps us, being young and being inexperienced, especially in this industry, helps us think differently and work to solve problems differently, but it's definitely had its challenges. So I'm glad that I started now, and I'm glad I'm where I am, but it has been a rough road.
What's some of the best business advice you've received?
I think if you ask anyone on the team, I probably have 30 different sayings that I use appropriately at different times. But one that I've thought about a lot recently, especially as we've had more challenging issues come up, is not necessarily that you have to work harder. It's that you have to do hard work better. You have to do it well. And because as I thought for sure, when this whole shelter in place thing happened, I thought, well, this is going to be a slower time. And it's going to be more time for us to look inside and change some things, but it hasn't been at all. It's been working to improve things that were already working well for us, working to see what opportunities were on the horizon. I mean, the number of reviews and meetings that have still yet to be scheduled now, that we had scheduled for March and April, has been a challenge for us. So it has really come down to doing the hard work well. That's what I think about probably every day.
Yeah, working smarter, not necessarily harder. That's key.
Right.
When it comes to that, how are you optimizing your team members to do the same?
Well, we were pretty fortunate. We're a small team, about 18 people, and it was important since day one that anyone we brought on had the same mentality of ultimately working smarter, not harder. And I think that we were fortunate that we put that in place early. So one thing I read that I thought was pretty interesting in the last month was your team, they're kind of like, it's kind of a silly analogy, but the team is kind of like bags of tea. You don't know what's in them until they're in hot water. And it has been really great and exciting to see how innovative some of or a lot of the team has become to make our goals and to continue to grow Phocus during a time when that's been a challenge for a lot of brands.
And speaking of growth, what's ahead for Clear Cut Focus? We're not, this global pandemic will end eventually. So, what are you excited about? What does the future look like?
A big concentration for us for the last year has been New York City. And when we started to work with big guys who are up here, we actually had, aside from minimal beverage experience at that time, I think we were about a year in, we didn't have any set chains. So one thing that we had done well was work into corporate spaces. And with that being shut down, it's been a pivot, but we've set a lot of groundwork that is ready for some of the chains that we are pitching to, as well as have confirmed placement for. We're ready for those to roll out. I know that we've built awareness in places that will start that pool off the shelf already. And then June 1st, we've got a pretty exciting new flavor launch, which I can't say yet. But it'll be nice to get back to that, where you can innovate and release new products. And we obviously wanted to be sensitive of what was going on, and so we delayed it. But we're thinking that now is a little taste of normalcy, whether it's new products and exciting innovation on our front will be a welcome addition. So that, along with some big retailer growth in the near future, is what we're really excited about. Obviously, we're waiting for a lot of this stuff to clear up, but we've got a lot of great opportunities on the horizon to nearly triple our current placement numbers.
Well, thank you so much, John. It was so wonderful catching up and learning more about your journey, and we look forward to staying in touch.
Yeah, thank you very much. It was great speaking with you.